going on, guys? Welcome back. Episode 5 here on the Sports Corner. As usual, I am your host, Joe, and back with me again, week number 2 for Corey here.
What's good, guys? Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, buddy.
Thanks, man.
No problem. All love here in the studio. Unfortunately, this week, Jack had prior commitments. He's down working, putting on a show at Lala. So if you were at Lala this weekend, you should have looked for Jack because he was the main event, let's be honest.
Not going to comment on it.
All right, it is what it is. Anyways, today what we got for you is a little bit of NFL. We had camps opening up this week, a little drama out in Houston. NBA, though, this gets real interesting here. Draymond Green had another setback this week. Pretty ballsy move on his part. We'll get into that a little later.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
I can't believe it's something we're going to be talking about, but we're going to cover it.
We need to.
We're going to cover it.
It's news.
And it needs to be covered.
Oh, yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
Pun intended. MLB tomorrow being the trade deadline because of that leap year. It's on August 1st this year. You know, leap year screw everything up. A lot of trades to talk about. A lot of guys we think could be moved in the next 15 hours or so. So we're going to get into that a lot today. And that's about all we got for you this week. Pretty slow week in everything except baseball with those trade talks kicking up. So before we get into this, I just want to give another shout out to Freshleets. If you were looking and watching right now, you see another amazing Freshleets tee. Freshleets University, this one says. Another great product from Freshleets. That head is still there, as it will be every week now. Freshleets, if you're watching this, give me that sponsorship. I would love to represent you guys in a well-mannered way. So thank you, Freshleets, for creating the dope products. Maybe I'll get Corey into one next week.
No, I'm good.
All right, babe.
I'm good.
That's my Freshleets plug for the week. Let's jump into that NFL talk. Camps are open, Corey. It's here. It's time. It's time to go.
Today is the last Sunday that we will not have football until February 11th, and I think I just broke the fourth wall, but that's okay. I know we're recording this on Sunday. But we can move on.
Yeah, you're good. It's Sunday, if you're wondering.
There we go.
Yeah. So, camps are open. It's official. You know, everybody gets excited around this time of year. Obviously, fantasy football is a huge thing. I myself do about 7 teams. Something crazy like that. I spend a lot of time doing fantasy football, but football is, it's a cornerstone for especially kids like around our age. It's a cornerstone, and it's on that week, that Sunday. Well, now it's like Thursday, Sunday, Monday, but it's something great, something everyone loves to watch. One of the premier players in the league this week started and ended a holdout very abruptly. DeAndre Hopkins
lasted what, about 24 hours?
I would say maybe less than 24.
Under 24 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he missed a practice. Maybe one practice?
He missed one practice. Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, stud wide receiver for the Houston Texans, holds out, we'll just say a day. But looking for that new contract. He's making, I think, $1.4 million this whole season. So I could see why he wants to hold out. I mean, the guy deserves to get paid. I don't know why Houston would hold back the checkbook on him, I mean, of all people.
Yeah, he's a top 5 wide receiver in football, and fantasy football players, you guys know he's a top 5 fantasy football wide receiver too, for sure. Fantasy owners can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, knowing there's no prolonged holdout going on, and he'll be, on the field for week 1, and he'll be...
Hopefully with a new deal.
Yeah, let's hope so. He'll be at the top of his game, good to go.
Yeah, my thing, I think why this only lasted a day, on August 5th, he's going to collect about a $500,000 check just for being on the roster. So it doesn't really make sense for him to hold out right now. I mean, I guess $500K in retrospect isn't that much money to a pro athlete, but when you're on his contract, you need to take every penny you can get if you're DeAndre. So
yeah, I think the holdout for however long it was, just a very few hours, was probably just to send a message more than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, it does him no good to go for a holdout. It doesn't help the Texans, but it does send the message that he wants to get this done.
Oh, yeah. And, they should do that. So, 100%. NBA, oh, man.
Yeah, I'm just going to let him take the lead on this.
Summertime sadness for Draymond Green. So, Green, Green says his Snapchat was hacked, and somebody posted a picture on his Snapchat story of his genitalia. So I don't think you get hacked and that happens. I mean, I don't know what angle, if it was like a selfie. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, we didn't seek out these pictures.
No.
Well, at least I did.
No, we did not seek out these pictures. I'm sure maybe thousands screenshotted it when they saw it. It was only up for 10 minutes, but Draymond, what are you doing? Why are you sending anything like that to anybody? You've got so much to lose. I mean, you're a professional athlete. It can only go down in the media for you. You mean, am I wrong?
No, but at the same time, I really don't know if he cares, to be perfectly honest. I mean, he's an NBA champion already, and he just helped. I guess he helped lure Kevin Durant to Golden State, and you know what? I really don't think he gives.
He better be careful. I mean, he was suspended once in the playoffs, for kicking people in that area. He should have been suspended twice, in my opinion, for kicking people in that area. And then he beat somebody up in a club in Michigan, allegedly over the summer here, and now this. I mean, where does it end for him?
Yeah, maybe the guy needs to just sit and enjoy his millions in his own home until NBA training camp starts up.
Draymond Green, if you're watching this, stop being a scumbag. There's your advice from me.
There we go.
Stop being a scumbag. I digress. All right, real quick, right there on the NBA, NFL. You're going to see a lot more from the NFL in the coming weeks, so really excited about that. But what we've all been waiting for, MLB trade talks. The deadline is tomorrow. This is like the best time of the year for me. This is a day or a week you circle on the calendar because it's just nonstop news about baseball, a game that we both love.
We've got just under 18 hours left until the MLB trade deadline at 3 p.m. Central tomorrow.
Yes, and I am super excited to watch the trade deadline show on MLB Network tomorrow all day.
Yeah, I'll be doing something like that too. I'll be following White Sox Twitter very closely to see any last pushes out there for the White Sox to get rid of these guys and maybe look forward to 2018 or 2019 and say screw 2017,
Right, yeah. We'll get into that in a little bit here. First trade we're going to talk about, Andrew Cashner and Colin Ray go from San Diego to Miami to play for the Marlins. My take here is Miami is desperate for starting pitching. Behind Jose Fernandez, that is nothing. Their rotation is not good. They've got Wei-Yin Chen. He pitched in Baltimore, but he's nothing special.
No.
He was actually their opening day starter because Fernandez was not ready or something. So Fernandez didn't start that day. He started the next day, but nothing special. He's probably a 3 or 4, honestly, if that, maybe a 5. But Cashner is also nothing special.
Yeah. I was going to say, Cashner, I know he's a bigger name for Cub fans because wasn't he the guy who went to San Diego,
for
Rizzo?
Right. So
when Rizzo came to the Cubs, yeah. Cub fans are thanking the Padres as much as they're thanking the Orioles for Jake Arrieta. But, Cashner was probably the best that they could do.
With their system.
Given their not horrible, but it's certainly not a top-of-the-line farm system. I can't say any farm system's terrible unless I look at my own teams.
Yikes, yeah.
Yeah, they had really nothing to give up, and Cashner has been very injury-prone throughout his career. You know that much as well. It's, they're trying to make some sort of push at it, and you know what? Behind Jose Fernandez, I wouldn't trust Andrew Cashner, but it's the best that they could do at this point in time.
So Cashner, he actually had to shave his beard because Don Mattingly has a no facial hair policy.
Really?
So he's beardless now, too. I wonder if that affects his game at all. It's kind of a joke, but...
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
no, I'm not totally serious about that.
Yeah, you're not very funny.
No,
so it's okay. I still love you, Joe.
That's my parents tell me the same thing. So yeah, I don't. Cashner's not an impressive name. His ERA is up in the high 4s, like 4.7, 4.8. He's got a plus arm. The guy can throw mid to upper 90s, but it just hasn't clicked for him. Who's to say it won't click for him in Miami? I don't know. I don't think it will. I think he's still going to be mediocre bottom line.
Let's just say his legacy is going to be getting Anthony Rizzo to the Cubs. And
right.
That's about
That's
it.
where his name will be attached when it's all
that and injuries. That's all he's got.
Right. And Colin Ray goes with him from San Diego, but that guy's already to the DL. He's already hurt. So Miami, this trade is looking very dire for you as it is because what you sent to San Diego, I looked at this and I was like, whoa, because I know it's not an impressive farm system, but your first round pick from last year, Josh Naylor, the first baseman.
Yeah, he was a number 2 overall prospect according to MLB.com.
Right.
Potential future for a power hitting first baseman.
Yeah. You got to see the potential there.
They got, especially with the way Miami's been built over the years, and now the trend has been changing since they acquired Giancarlo Stanton,
Mhm.
where they used to be a big time free agent attraction because it's Miami,
Mhm.
and I remember way back when Ozzie left the White Sox for Miami, and they just assembled this free agent team, and it just bit the dust.
Yeah.
They weren't an attractive place. They weren't developing their own at the time, and now that they're trying to do that, getting rid of your number 2 prospect in your farm system, albeit it's a little shaky of a system, that still can't help them going forward.
No, I mean, I don't think it hurts them. I don't really like giving him up, but they've still got a lot of young pieces. That outfield's probably one of the best in the league.
You're right.
D. Gordon's still 26, 27. He's as long as he stays off those PEDs, he can hit leadoff and steal 50 bags for you. So I mean,
Stanton doesn't break his face,
Justin Bour, he's a decent first baseman. You're welcome because the Cubs didn't protect him in the Rule 5, and that's how Miami got him. So yeah, they got decent pieces already up on their major league team, but man,
But the thing is, when you already have decent pieces on your team, they're still not
developing their own players.
Well, no. What I'm saying is they're not. You don't look at them and they don't scream perennial powerhouse.
Right.
And the way you become that is you either add from the outside or add from the inside. They don't have anything on the inside to add. And they have nothing to trade for to get something from the outside
because they have nothing
nothing on the inside.
Right, yeah.
So if this is where they kind of want to stay stuck, I don't see them going anywhere in the National League playoffs, assuming they get there.
If they get in that wild card game, I'd see them winning it just because Jose Fernandez is going to pitch.
Jose Fernandez is a stud. Nobody wants to face Jose Fernandez.
Right.
But.
And the other piece, the piece that I'm really worried about that because they gave up, is Carter Capps, relief pitcher, 58 Ks in 31 innings last year. So that's a ridiculous amount of Ks in 31 innings. Wow, honestly. And if you have not seen him pitch, go on YouTube. Look up Carter Capps. Maybe I'll link the video in the description below.
There we go. We're learning. We're learning
now.
There we go.
I will link the video. Click this link. Watch this guy throw. Just to give you a little heads up, this guy hops off the rubber when he is breaking to throw to home. It's really crazy to watch. I don't know how he stays coordinated to do that.
Yeah, so basically when he pitches, he's pushing off with his right foot. And he does a little bit of a crow hop or whatever it's called, with the right foot that he's pushing off with before his left foot hits the ground and while the ball is still in his hand behind him. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it's coordinated like that.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but I mean, it throws off the hitter's timing and that pitch when it comes out, he's throwing 98 miles an hour, so he's going to catch, if he catches a batter off guard for half a second, that pitch is already by him. So
yeah, 98 plus with wipeout slider. He had Tommy John this year, so it's not really a red flag to me because how many guys have Tommy John now and come back? So he could still be a really dominant right-handed piece out of the back end of your bullpen, 8th inning guy, maybe a closer for San Diego. San Diego doesn't have a closer right now, so that's the piece that I'm really worried about. That Miami just said, yeah, okay, whatever, take him. We'll take these 2 C- starters, and we'll go at it. I mean.
Yeah.
All right, well, next trade we want to talk about here, Melvin Upton Jr. going up to the Blue Jays, going up to the 6, the home of the Stroh Show, Toronto. Basically, Melvin, formerly known as BJ, is having a really good year, actually, if you look at his numbers.
Yeah, he's got, I think, 16 bombs this year so far, so decent year.
Actually only one of 2 players in the league to have 15-plus home runs and 20 steals.
Yeah, so he's having a productive year, and he fits well in that hard-hitting Jays lineup.
Can you name the other player with 15 home runs and 20 stolen bases?
I have a feeling he's on the Cubs, right? No? Oh. Put me on the spot here. I really don't know.
Would you like me to tell you?
I would like you to tell me.
Jose Altuve.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I believe me. That's a good category to be in. Altuve is in the AL MVP race.
That is certain, yeah.
Yeah, so just a quick side note there. Yeah, so I like this deal. I do. Jose Bautista is probably leaving in the offseason.
His contract demands are still ridiculous.
Oh my god, that guy's stupid.
He still wants $30 million a year, and he's 35 or 36. Yeah,
that's so dumb.
If any team is stupid enough to give it to him, it's going to be the White Sox. But we're just going to let that go. So come wintertime, I'll wake up screaming in my sleep because they're giving him $30 million a year. But I digress.
Yeah, Encarnacion also probably going to leave.
Yeah.
basically, it's not that they don't want to keep him, but you look around the league, you look what happens when you give these guys over 30 huge deals, Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, Mark Teixeira, etc., etc. They do not work out. You would rather say, all right, take a qualifying offer. It's going to be about, I believe, $18 million this year.
Sounds about right.
They will decline. You will get draft picks. They will leave.
That's all you can really do.
You're right.
I mean, and keep developing from within.
Right.
I mean,
which that helps with. So
I mean, when they go, or if they go, they still have the MVP of the AL from last year, Josh Donaldson, and we just said acquired Melvin Upton. So
slot him in right field. You still got Pilar. You still got Michael Saunders, Chris Colabello.
Yeah,
First
I mean,
baseman.
we all knew they had a prolific offense.
Oh yeah,
that just
Tulo's still there next year.
Yeah, and they are competing with Baltimore right now for that first spot in the AL East. I believe Baltimore just took it back today because they beat the Blue Jays. They were head to head, so the Blue Jays are, still right there.
After Baltimore lost 5 in a row.
Yeah,
they were slumping a little bit.
Yeah, it's that AL East is up for grabs though.
Speaking of Baltimore, going into our next trade, they acquire Wade Miley, left-handed pitcher from the Mariners.
I don't get this. I don't get Baltimore's ability to develop pitching.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much handed the White Sox Miguel Gonzalez.
Correct.
And Miguel Gonzalez, for every downside that the White Sox have had this year, and there have been plenty, Miguel Gonzalez has been a fantastic ad for them. They picked him up on waivers, and he's a fantastic fifth starter.
Solidified the fifth spot in the rotation.
I would say so, absolutely. So I don't understand who's evaluating the Baltimore pitching, where they get rid of Gonzo and they trade for Wade Miley and think that's okay.
So they should lose their job.
Yeah.
They also, got rid of Jake Arrieta.
Yeah.
For Scott Feldman. Thank you again. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, Wade Miley is not good. This guy is he did just shut down the Cubs.
Yeah, I was about to say, but didn't Gonzo shut down the Cubs too?
Yeah.
So
it's been happening lately.
But yeah, I feel like Wade Miley's just more of a name.
Right.
You see him. I remember, wasn't he with the Red Sox
Boston.
for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
And he was supposed to be, like the number 2 to
Mm-hmm. Did not work.
I don't understand what the attraction is to Wade Miley, but it's kind of got to stop.
I mean, it's still an upgrade for Baltimore. Believe it or not, this is an upgrade because Ubaldo Jimenez.
Well, yeah,
he's in their bullpen right now. I mean, they just need the starting pitching. Dylan Bundy, he's the young.
I mean,
kid.
if you give someone who's been eating garbage their entire life, a moldy bologna sandwich, they're going to eat it. It's that's what it is. That's what their pitching is at this point.
Yeah,
it's the moldy bologna sandwich.
That's why they win games at home like crazy because they could just hit bombs out of camping.
Oh yeah, well, Trumbo, they rake.
Trumbo,
they rake.
signing of the year.
Yeah, but pitching's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I feel like it's going to end up costing them the division.
Mm-hmm. If I had to take somebody to win the AL East, I would still pick Toronto.
As would I.
Yeah, and I would pick Boston to finish second.
Yeah.
I just like that team more all around. I mean, what I do love about Baltimore is the back end of their bullpen. It's solid. You got O'Day and Zach Britton's dominant. He's dominant.
But you got to have a lead to get to
correct.
Them.
Which with that offense, any given day. But yeah, the pitching.
But I don't think it's sustainable come playoff time.
Yeah, right. I agree because you're going to see the best pitching in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like I know we're not going to talk too much about it, but I feel like Cleveland, when we transition into Cleveland's head and shoulders above.
Oh, absolutely.
All the rest
They're
of the
best
teams.
team in the American League, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I'd say so too.
And we'll get into that. We certainly will. But let's go to an all-star shortstop on the move from the American League to the National League West. Eduardo Nunez from Minnesota to San Francisco. This guy was an all-star this year. He's hitting over 300. I was a little confused by this for San Fran. I mean, I know they've had injury problems. Obviously, Pence was out. Matt Duffy's been known to be hurt. Joe Panik was hurt for a while. So I guess it makes sense in a sense, not to use that word too often. But,
yeah.
I just thought they would go after bullpen help big time.
I feel like San Francisco is just trying to get to the playoffs, and then
it's an even year.
Yeah, well, yeah, we know they win in even years, but I mean, they're trying to get into the playoffs, and I know that sounds like stupid for everybody who's just brand new listening, but at the same time, once you get in, anything can happen, and if you still have to look on paper, their rotation can line up with people in the playoffs, and if you have a good rotation in the playoffs and you have just enough hitting, which is what I think this trade helps them do. You have Cueto, Samardzija, Bumgarner. You're going to have the pitching in order to win a series and
Mhm.
hope and just if you can squeeze by people, you're still winning, and that's all
Right.
that you want to do come playoff time.
Yeah, I think last year they were one of the best teams in the National League, and then come second half, come August, it just became, I guess, too much. They just collapsed. They missed the playoffs.
Well, they haven't started out hot out of the break
This season,
this
that's
time
what I'm
either.
getting into. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they come out of the break this year, 2-10. Those were the first 12 games for them. So it's been rough with the All Star break for them. I have a lot of faith though. Bruce Bochy,
Oh
he's
yeah.
one of my favorite managers in the league, 100%. But I think you look at this, you're like, man, we need to do something. We need to change the mojo in the clubhouse. We need to do a move today, and we need to help our team. And to go along with what you were saying, get just enough hitting. He's a good young player, Nunez. Good player.
Yeah, he gets hidden up there in Minnesota, because they're just kind of garbage.
Yeah,
but
yeah, right.
They beat the White Sox today, by the way. But they
Almost beat him yesterday too.
Yeah, they lost.
They blew that lead.
They won 2 of 3. They should have swept, but
Mhm.
we'll move on from that. But yeah, he was hidden in Minnesota, and I think just around once they get into the playoffs, assuming they do, San Francisco's just looking to score 4 runs or 5 runs and just barely get by on a 4-3 or a 5-4 game and just call it a win.
Yeah.
They're not going to blow any teams out. They just want to manage the game with their pitching and try to get timely hitting, and that's all they can really do.
Yeah. So let's move on to Mark Melancon goes from Pittsburgh to Washington. If you're a Nationals fan, you just got to be saying, finally they did something with this bullpen. Dusty Baker has zero faith in anybody out of that pen. He was going in the 9th inning the other day. Bases are loaded. I mean, he's pulling people after one batter. All right, you're done. Let's go. All right, whatever. I got to go to the next guy. The only reason they win the game is because they pull off a 3-3-5 triple play and end the game.
Yep.
So, I mean, Dusty Baker is probably pleading, please, Mike Rizzo, the GM, make a trade. Get me a closer. Get me 2 relievers. Do something. And they get one of the best in the business, an all-star in Melancon. He's already got 30 saves this year. So this guy's locked down in the 9th inning. He's thank you for taking him away from the Pirates.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're giving up, but Melancon's a free agent at the end of the year.
Well, I think they're being smart.
Yeah, he's a free agent at the end of the year.
They're
He's
being
not
smart
signing
because
there.
with the Cubs and St. Louis above them,
Mhm.
I don't think that they're making the. I just want to say that I don't think they're making the
No,
playoffs.
neither do I.
And yeah, if you're going to lose him at the end of the year,
Mhm.
why not get something for him?
Right, yeah.
And as far as Dusty Baker goes, I haven't seen a bullpen managed so strangely since I looked at Robin Ventura. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
he just doesn't know what to do. And for Dusty Baker, for us to say Dusty Baker doesn't know how to manage this bullpen, this guy has been doing this his whole life. Baseball has been his life. So, I mean, it's just crazy.
Cub fans still blame him for ruining Kerry Wood and Mark
I don't
Pryor.
blame him at all.
Yeah,
You got to ride your horses. I still say that. When I see like innings limits on these pitchers who are grown men in the major leagues, it's like, what are you doing? I don't care that he just tore his arm up. His arm's fine. He had surgery. Like, he rehabbed it for a year for this reason. Let him go. But yeah, I mean, God.
So basically, that boosts one of the best teams in the NL. We can see that. We can say that much for
Right?
sure.
Yeah. 100%. Melancon's he's a stud. This he's awesome. So that makes them a lot better. Hopefully, not hopefully, but for Nationals fans, hopefully they add another piece in that bullpen just so Dusty can stop running out to the mound so much. That guy's too old to be doing that.
I mean, just saying, the White Sox are dealing David Robertson.
Oh,
We're
do you want Lucas Giolito?
I mean,
I'll take him.
I wouldn't turn that down. The Yankees turned that down.
Yeah, they sure did. I
think
don't know why.
that was. We could talk about the Yankees a little bit later,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have turned them down.
Next trade, and the most ridiculous for me, the one that I read this on Twitter and was like, what? Matt Kemp from San Diego to Atlanta for Oliveira. Is that how you say his last
I
name?
think it's Hector Oliveira.
Hector Oliveira, one of the Cuban signs. He made big money. I think his contract was up
Yeah,
in the
but
60s.
his contract was weird when he signed it because I think he was 29 or 30
Yeah,
when he signed it. So I don't understand why they put the length on that and gave that much money to some guy who says he's 29 or 30 and he's probably 35, 36 because we know how that goes in Cuba.
I am 12.
Yeah, stop.
So Matt Kemp having a pretty decent year in basically the worst hitters park in the league. His numbers are, his on base is bad. His on base has been going down for the last few years, but his power numbers, RBI numbers still solid, still respectable for a right fielder. So to deal him to Atlanta's in a total rebuild right now. So I don't know what's motivating them. I guess it's just kind of a bad contract swap because Oliveira was DFA'd designated for assignment, for those who don't know what that means, by San Diego the second they got him.
So basically he was cut. is
Right.
what we're
Unless
looking at.
someone is just feeling lucky and they claim him on waivers.
Because nobody wanted to pay him that amount of money to just sit in the minors
Yeah.
or whatever he was doing, because he wasn't that impressive after he signed.
Right. Yeah. So now Matt Kemp's on Atlanta. The only reason I could see this being a reasonable thing for Atlanta to do is they want to flip him for another prospect just to continue that rebuild. So if they do that, this makes a lot more sense to me. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here going, I don't know what you guys are doing. I thought this was a total teardown, but
Well, now I don't know all of his contract terms off the top of my head as
he's
far
not
as
a rental.
Matt Kemp
He's
goes.
got control.
How many more years? Do you know how many more years
One or
he
two.
has? 1 or 2?
Yeah.
See, the Braves have, what did I say earlier? They have 6 prospects in the top 100, I believe, on MLB.com. So they've got a young stable ready to come. Well, not ready to come up just yet, but they will be within the next couple of years. They'll have solid pitching come up, and they'll have a few
Dansby Swanson.
Yeah, Dansby Swanson, a few good hitting shortstops come up as well. But I don't understand the Matt Kemp move unless they really, really wanted to get out of this Oliveira money, which I can see that because they committed so much money to a 30-year-old Cuban.
Yeah, but I could see it if you're contending and you want to add pieces and you just want to have more space, but like you're not paying anybody.
But I think the duration of Matt Kemp's deal is still shorter than Oliveira's.
Yeah.
Because didn't Oliveira sign last offseason? So he has, I think, 5 years or something like that was the total of his contract. And if Matt Kemp has 1 or 2 more years, you're still getting out of that Matt Kemp money faster than
you would have
with Oliveira's money. Mm-hmm. So the logical sense is, yes, trade Matt Kemp quickly to a contender who can flip you a prospect for him.
Back to LA he goes.
You know what? Maybe.
I can't see the future, but that's what I'd like to see. They need right-handed outfielders. Not to say they'll make a move. I still think they're higher on Jay Bruce, but
yeah, we'll talk about that a little later on, though.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the 2 big ones. They both broke today. Last night ended today. One ends up not happening. But first, sorry about Andrew Miller. Goes to Cleveland from New York for Clint Frazier is the headliner in this one. This guy, just to bring up something on Clint Frazier here, he is boys with Mike Stud. Your boy Mike Stud. Just kidding, my boy Mike Stud. I'm
just gonna sit here and look at the stain on this.
So he's
until we're done.
He's obviously an A-list player if he's hanging out with Mike Stud. That's my opinion on it. But all jokes aside,
we're good.
Andrew Miller is one of the best relievers in the game. Lefty, dominant stuff. He's like 6'8", 6'9", so tall force on that mound. Throws hard. Got a wipe-away slider.
Yeah, the best part about him, I think, is that he's not one of those lefty one-out guys. Mm-hmm. He can get out those right-handed hitters, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes him, we've already said it, he's a fantastic reliever. Mm-hmm. One of the best in all of baseball. Yankees had a lot to give away in that bullpen, and they've done a great job acquiring prospects for him, but this makes the Indians so much better today than they were yesterday.
And I'm curious as to what Terry Francona, one of the best managers in the league, what he will do with the back end. Is Miller going to close? Is he going to be an 8th inning guy? Because they do have Cody Allen. Cody Allen's a very good closer. I think he's top of the line as far as right-handed closers.
It's a really good problem to have for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially come playoff time. And combine that with their starting rotation.
Oh, God.
If you can get, if their starters can get 7 innings, that's it. That's you're done.
You're not coming back.
And I don't think 7 innings is too much to ask for that rotation, especially that top 3. Mm-hmm. I really don't think that's too much for them to ask, and I think that's why they're the best team in the American League right now.
100%. They're the best team in the American League. It's not a doubt in my mind. They are consistent. They pitch well. They hit just enough. Well, more than enough. They're 3rd in the American League in scoring, which nobody saw coming.
No,
but
of course not.
Signings like Mike Napoli have really impacted that team. He's been great for them. And they've been without Michael Brantley for most of the season, who is probably highly regarded as their best hitter into this season. So he's been bad on the shoulder. They've still been scoring runs. If he comes back and gives them anything come September and October, that's even scarier for them.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say on that. I mean, they whipped the White Sox enough to where I know that their pitching is fantastic. Now their bullpen is even stronger than it was before. Yeah. And like we talked about earlier with the San Francisco Giants, if the Indians' offense can squeeze through, 3 runs, 4 runs, 5 runs, and they win a game 3-2 come the ALDS, that's how they're going to be trying to win.
Right, yeah. That's how they're built to win. And also with Cleveland, Today, this morning it broke that they had traded for Jonathan Lucroy, the all-star catcher from Milwaukee. He's a really, really attractive piece for teams that need catching help because he's one of the top 3-4 catchers in the game
I'd
right
say
now.
so.
And
maybe after Buster Posey and Salvador Perez. That's about it.
And he's got a team option next year for only $5.3 million.
Yep.
So obviously that's going to get picked up, and you've got control of him for next year to make another run with him. Same as you do with Andrew Miller. So that's why this trade we were looking like, wow, they're going at it. They're going all in. But Lucroy has a no trade clause and had the ability to veto the no trade clause to the trade to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Cleveland to waive that club option because he wants to get paid instead of trying to win a ring or two. So I think that's very, very stupid, honestly. This is a good team you're going to go to from Milwaukee, who's one of the worst teams in the league. You have possibility to make 2 playoff runs with this team with great pitching staff. You're going to get to catch this great pitching staff, and you're turning it down for money. You're going to get paid either way. Like I don't understand this. You're still making $5 million next year, and then you're going to get paid.
Well, there's stupidity on both sides of this because on Lucroy's side, his option's getting picked up regardless of where he's at.
Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't like Cleveland, and no offense to people in Cleveland, but it's not it's not the best place.
Nothing against Cleveland.
Nothing against Cleveland. You got LeBron, and that's really about it. But
Robert Griffin III. Sorry.
What was I saying? So Lucroy, his option's getting picked up regardless because 5.5 for the third best catcher, 5.3 or $5.5 million for the best or third best catcher in all of baseball is a great deal. Whether it's going to be in Milwaukee or whether it's going to be in Cleveland, they're picking or somewhere else. They're picking up that contract. No team is going to give up 3 because Cleveland was going to give up 3 of their top 25 prospects to get Lucroy. They're not going to get him for 2 months and give up 3 of their best prospects just to see him walk at the end of the year. He signed a contract with a club option for the 5.3 after 2016, and he's not going to lose that option no matter what. Someone's going to keep him because it's great value. And then on the side of Cleveland, I mean, I guess I applaud them for not caving into.
Not overpaying way too much.
Yeah, not caving in and not ripping up his 2017 option. But at the same time, there was an article today, I don't know if you caught it, that described the Indians' plans for Lucroy for 2017, where they were actually going to take him and make him a first baseman.
I was going to say they should play him at first.
A first baseman / DH.
Because they got Yan Gomes, who's younger.
Yeah, that was what I was reading too, and it's a little confusing as far as why. I mean, I get that Lucroy's a top 3 catcher though in all of baseball, so I can see why he would want to stick behind the plate. On one side, you see if he could play first base, you see his versatility, and that would make his value go up.
First base is not that hard to play.
Well, I understand that, but it's still another position that he can add to his.
Well, I'm saying he could play first base easy with no problem. Not like on the value side. I'm saying I can see why what Cleveland should do with him if they were to get him is to make him a first baseman once Yan Gomes gets back from injury. Because that makes your team all that much better if you're getting that much better.
We gotcha.
Yeah, it makes you so much better to have Yan Gomes and Lucroy to have the value there, 2 prime-time catchers. Gomes is having a terrible season this year, but he's got talent and he's a real good glove behind the plate. So if you got those 2 guys in the lineup every day, because they don't have a first baseman on this team.
No.
So.
But I can't. Now again, I'm not going to try to get inside of Jonathan Lucroy's mind. But if he really just wants to catch, I mean, I would if I was one of the top 3 catchers in baseball. I wouldn't want to be moved to first base for Yan Gomes.
It's a respect thing.
Yeah, and I feel like on one hand, teams aren't going to forget how good of a catcher Jonathan Lucroy is, even if he moves to first base / DH for a year. But at the same time, I don't know if that'll cost him in some bargaining as a catcher because they can say, well, you haven't caught more than 30 games a year since 2016.
Right.
So it's. Again, it on the outside, it sort of looks like he looks like he wants to be chasing his money because he wants to have his option cut. But I can't really speak for the guy. But I can say that I don't think he's in it for a ring. because he gave up a great opportunity.
Obviously, he's not in it for a ring.
Yeah, you might not like Cleveland, but
is Milwaukee that much better?
It's not. But at the same time, they have a great rotation. They just acquired Andrew Miller.
Yeah.
You could be catching those guys in the playoffs that come October, and you have a really great shot of making it to the World Series, and you just gave that up because you want your options shredded, which is going to get picked up either way.
Regardless of what you do.
So I don't know who's giving him information, but it's not good information.
No. Jonathan Lucroy, stop being so selfish. Go to Cleveland. Well, they don't want you anymore. Go to New York.
Yeah, they moved on.
Go play for the Mets. Get out of Milwaukee. All right, let's talk about, we got 4 guys here that we want to discuss. Guys that really possibly could be moved within the next 15 or 16, whatever we said, 19 hours. So let's get into them a little bit. Jay Bruce, I have said before on the podcast, I believe he will go to the Dodgers. I will stick with that because I just think the interest is all there. I think they need him badly. This guy, he's tearing the cover off the ball. His numbers are great this year, and you've got control of him next year. It's a really attractive piece for them. I know the Dodgers would prefer a right-handed bat, but Jay Bruce is probably the best, available outfielder on the market. And is there a guy better than him?
Basically, you have 2 teams right now that are in on 2 very solid hitting right fielders. You've got Jay Bruce and Josh Reddick, and you've got the Dodgers and the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow by 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, I feel like one of them's going to end up on one of those teams, and the other guy's going to end up on the other team, because they're both looking for solid hitting right fielders. And I don't think it really matters, because I'm a big fan of Josh Reddick. I don't think it matters too much overall who goes where. I feel like if the Mets were to acquire Jay Bruce, that's sort of insurance for them in case Cespedes walks. But either way, those teams are getting an upgrade.
Oh, absolutely.
They're getting solid hitters, and I feel like that's what the Mets need right now, because
badly.
The Mets, we all know about their pitching, but they need some help scoring runs. And
story of the year at the deadline again, the Mets can't score runs.
Yeah, but you know what? They somehow made it work last year, and they need to get another big acquisition if they're going to get to the playoffs. And they just need just enough to support what pitching that they have. So
yeah. Josh Reddick, I just have this weird feeling that he's not going to go anywhere. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I guess we'll see come tomorrow, but I just think he's not going to move. And I think the Dodgers are going to get Bruce, and I think the Mets are going to be looking in the mirror and going, oh, man, we screwed up.
Any of that your Cub fan bias right there?
No, I mean, I don't know. It's just a feeling I have right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, a feeling, because when we talk about the White Sox later, I have a couple feelings on them too.
Yeah.
But you know what? I really feel like the Mets know. I feel like the Mets are going to make a deal, and once it gets to 2 p.m. Central tomorrow, 2:15, 2:30, they're going to start panicking a little bit. They might cave into what the Reds want, or they might cave into what the Oakland Athletics want. Yep, or for Lucroy, because they've been down this road. Yeah. They understand that, okay, we have this pitching, we don't have enough offense. Last year we went out and we got, actually 1 year ago today, right? We went out and got Yoenis Cespedes, and he propelled us with an MVP-like second half to get us to the World Series. They can do that again with adding a bat or two at the deadline this year.
100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about Rich Hill, Oakland. He's on the DL right now. He had the blister problem, but Oakland's looking to sign an extension with Rich Hill for some reason, so I'm thinking he's not going anywhere. If he goes somewhere, it'll probably be Boston. If they can't, probably Sale.
Boston needs some pitching the worst way.
Yeah, that's why they should just go all in on Chris Sale.
I agree.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to.
Or Q, I'll take him for Q.
Yeah, right. They should go get somebody. I think if they were, it would be Rich Hill, but I think he's going to stay in Oakland. I don't know why they want to sign an extension with him, but
how old is Rich Hill?
Mid-30s.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Cubs long. The golden days in the Chicago Cubs. Rich Hill. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
he was terrible with the Cubs, and his numbers are really good this year. They've been good with the A's.
I feel like Oakland's just in this constant rebuild.
It's like, the Oakland Athletics are basically a major league farm system for the other teams in Major League Baseball. You pick off whatever you need. Yeah, sure, we'll trade them to you, no problem, because they can't.
They're not a big market team.
No, they don't have the funds. Yeah.
Yeah, so
they're a major league farm system. This is what they do. They just trade off all their pieces. They're constantly mediocre or terrible, and it's just a never-ending cycle. And Billy Beane is the the head on that snake. Like he gets promotions and he gets paid very well. So
I feel like he's just a name. He's not. I don't know about the substance behind him.
Maybe that's why they didn't fire him. Because he should not have a job there.
I don't think so. But yeah, getting back to Rich Hill, I don't know why you would sign an extension with Rich Hill. Maybe it's just talk as we're approaching the deadline to make somebody ante up another prospect or two. But yeah, I feel like Rich Hill, I feel like Jay Bruce, and I feel like Josh Reddick might all be on different teams tomorrow. I feel like Reddick is probably the least likely of those three.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Jay Bruce is absolutely going somewhere because
I do too.
Yeah, he's been raking all this year.
Yeah.
And pitching is a commodity, and some team that might not want or might not be able to afford Jose Quintana or Chris Sale looks at Rich Hill and they're like, well, we can get this for
a decent third option.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, all right, let's talk about veteran outfielder Carlos Beltran. So you figure with, after Chapman, the Yankees trade Chapman, you think, oh, they're not sellers. They're just, he might leave, so you got to get something for him. Now they trade Miller. You're thinking, okay, they're waving the white flag here. They're sellers for the first time in like 27 years. So next piece to be moved should be Carlos Beltran having a great year, and I think Houston has to go and get him. Mm-hmm. If you're asking me, it has to be Houston. Not only does he help you on the field, but off the field. He is super valuable to, Correa. Bregman just came up to Jake Marisnick. He's having problems hitting the ball. I think he's super valuable in the clubhouse for those young guys to get, the knowledge just talk hitting with Carlos Beltran could be valuable to you. And he is, what he's going to give you in October.
Carlos Beltran, 10 years ago was full of just insane baseball or playoff baseball.
Oh yeah,
heroics.
He's a highlight reel in October.
What was it? 2004 when he was with the Astros. Wasn't that when he just took over and I think he got them to
CS?
The CS. I think he got them to like Game 6 or Game 7 with the Cardinals, I believe, or against the Cardinals.
Right. Yeah.
But the guy's been a great hitter in this league for a long, long time, and if you're looking for a veteran presence, you're not going to find one much better than Carlos Beltran. The Red Sox are looking into him a little bit, but I don't know how into that the Yankees are.
It's got to be Houston. I think it's either going to be Houston or Texas. The Astros or the Rangers, but Houston. You got to go get this guy. You got to make this deal.
Yeah, and right now, I looked just before we actually started the show. What was his name? John Heyman tweeted out that the Yankees are getting offers from the Red Sox and Houston for Beltran, but nothing for what they want. So again, deadline spur action. So we'll see again tomorrow around 2:30, 2:45, 2:50, 2:55. Who panics?
Right. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the White Sox. They started to sell today.
I don't have a beer this week.
I can get you one.
No, I'll manage.
All right. Just making sure. I'm a good host.
Yeah, I need to be drunk for this segment, but we can keep going.
All right, let's do it. So why don't you talk a little about the Sox maybe starting to sell today? Go ahead.
Well, we know they started today. Earlier this morning around, I think 9 in the morning is when the news broke. They traded, what was his name, Zach Duke? They traded him for who, though?
Charlie Tilson.
Charlie Tilson, yes. And if you don't know who Charlie Tilson is, that's okay, because at 9 a.m. this morning, I didn't know who Charlie Tilson was. And Charlie Tilson was the number 12 prospect in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. The Cardinals needed some bullpen help that wasn't Zach Miller, that wasn't Aroldis Chapman. They wanted one of those under-the-radar signings that are trades that can provide excellent value. And I do think Zach Duke is pretty good value. He's not a big name, but he can give you a good 7th inning during a playoff game, and maybe
he can get lefties out.
Yeah, and he actually does relatively well against righties. I mean, I've watched the games because I'm insane. And what the White Sox got in return, they got Charlie Tilson, who grew up as a White Sox fan. I believe he was raised in Northbrook. But, yeah, there's not much to say. You can see how pathetic the White Sox system is when he was the 12th prospect in the Cardinal system, and now he's number 5 in the White Sox system. Technically speaking, he's going to be number 4 because our number 1 prospect is Carson Fulmer, who got promoted. And I don't know if he's up here to stay.
I hope not.
I hope not either. But I feel like he can use some seasoning in AAA if that
Absolutely.
stays. So bottom line, if that stays, Tilson will be number 4, and if 4 more drops, it's going to be 5. And actually, Tilson is scheduled to start in center field for the White Sox coming up against the Detroit Tigers. Basically, what I've seen from Tilson, long story short, his floor is a 4th outfielder. The way they describe him is a little bit like the role Austin Jackson played for the White Sox this year, where very good defensive center fielder. That's probably Tilson's best attribute, along with his speed, which helps with his defense. And he's not going to be a guy for much power as far as home runs go. He has gap-to-gap power. Ridiculously fast. He just needs a little bit work on, I don't want to just say hitting,
right,
but discipline at the plate, I would guess. But
well, that's good value for Zach Duke.
For Zach Duke, yeah, especially because they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is good value in that trade.
It's the start of hopefully more.
Real quick, with that, who are the White Sox trading tomorrow, if anybody, go?
David Robertson's probably most likely. I could see him going to one of these teams that were in on Miller, in on Chapman, and they didn't get the deal done. I feel like Robertson's probably number 1 most likely to go. And then in the peripheries, I really don't expect too much more
think that's all they're
happening.
going to do tomorrow?
Unfortunately, now the only reason why I'm okay with it is because I see how Red Sox fans, just an example for Red Sox fans, are interacting on Twitter about their top prospects, and they think they're, godsent, basically. And you can't give up a top 10 pitcher in baseball for these prospects that you don't think you're going to need. You need to give up A-list prospects for Chris Sale and Jose Quintana. And realistically, if a team's not going to do that, and I do feel like the Red Sox might have something up their sleeve because we know how Dave Dombrowski likes to gut a farm system to make a run at something. If the White Sox are going to get fair value for Chris Sale or Jose Quintana, then I don't want them to trade them.
Yeah.
Why would you sell low on 2 of the best assets in all of baseball?
Well, the thing with that even is you could wait till the offseason.
Of course.
Because they're under contract. You're in no rush to trade them. I still think they should, but you don't want to undersell them.
Yeah, but if, let's say the White Sox made a trade for Chris Sale to the Red Sox, if the first 2 names on that list of prospects they got back weren't Moncada and Benintendi, I would consider the trade a failure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You need both of those guys.
Right.
And if you're going to get just one of them when you probably could have gotten more, that's ultimately a failure for your organization. I don't care if Moncada is a future 10-time All-Star like Robinson Cano or anything like that. You need to get fair value for what you're giving away.
Mm-hmm.
And teams who are contending for playoff spots tomorrow, like we said, around 2:30 Central Time, lots of pressure is going to be on them because the teams around them in the race are making these moves.
Yeah.
And if you stand pat, you're not going to go anywhere.
I agree. So we'll see what happens tomorrow,
Yep.
I guess. We're going to see what they do. I don't have faith in Rick Hahn, Kenny Williams. I don't know if you do anymore.
I used to have faith in Rick Hahn.
I just don't see it anymore.
I used to have faith in Rick Hahn. I would like to see what he can do without Kenny Williams in charge.
Right.
I don't think I'll ever see that.
No.
Until Jerry dies and new ownership comes in and gets rid of these guys, but I don't think I'll see that. But yeah, then beyond D-Rob, the only thing I could see is maybe they trade Shields or Gonzalez as, lower tier pitchers who might get you something, whereas teams don't want to give up everything for Sale and
Right.
Q.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I just hope we're wrong. For baseball fans, for Sox fans, I hope we're wrong. I want to see the big blockbuster deal go down.
Yeah, I do too. If 3:01 Central Time comes tomorrow and Chris Sale is a Red Sox or Jose Quintana is a Red Sox, if it's Chris Sale, I expect to see Moncada and Benintendi on the south side starting at AAA or AA. I think they're at AAA right now.
Mm-hmm.
Starting at AAA for the Charlotte Knights, and if Q is gone, I expect one of those 2, if not both of those 2,
Mm-hmm.
to be in the White Sox farm system tomorrow. But anything short of that, I really don't. I'm fine holding on to them because of the control you have over them.
Yeah, you could still make that decision later. All right, the Cubs. We know they made the move for Chapman already. Are they still buying? I would like to think that they are. I've heard talks. They're calling around to Colorado. on the availability of the young starting pitching Colorado has. John Gray and Chatwood. The Cubs basically, from what I understand, all the sources out there are Jorge Soler. You've got a for sale sign stapled to your forehead. Like, somebody take him off our hands. Now, do I hope they move? I kind of like the possibility of getting John Gray. He's got a lot of control. I believe he's under team control until 2021. So a young, talented arm, because you don't know what's going to happen in the coming years with Arrieta, the ability to leave after next year, and he's probably gone. They're not going to give him, 28, 29, $30 million a year.
That's one big thing that could be scary for Cubs fans who have this vision of contending for the next 8 years, is what happens with Jake Arrieta and if you can replace him. But that's a story for another day.
Right. So I like that possibility. I don't know what else the Cubs have in the works. Obviously, I'm not in the front office, but I would like, if that's a move they make tomorrow, I'm happy with it. If they add another bullpen arm,
what do you think of them going after somebody like Rich Hill? Rich Hill's having a good year.
What are you going to do with him come playoff time? Where is he? We talked about this a little bit last week.
We did.
It's like, yeah, you want to add a pitcher.
Would you rather have him or Jason Hamill?
Jason Hamill.
You think?
I would. Jason Hamill's ERA is still 3.2, 3.23. So, I mean, in the bullpen, yeah, okay, Jason Hamill, you're fine. Because he's not going to be in the rotation regardless. And I don't think I'd put Rich Hill in that rotation either. In the playoffs, I mean. So, if they're going to add a starter, I either want it to be a huge name or a guy like John Gray, a young guy with a lot of control. I wouldn't want to see a Rental in the starting rotation.
But you wouldn't have to give up too much for him, though. Is the point?
Yeah, but I still just would rather have the young guy with control over the guy who's going to leave.
Well, you probably have to give up a young guy with control for that.
All right, bye Soler. No problem with it. Zero problem with it. I used to love Soler, and I just don't see it. But I just don't see the appeal for a team like Colorado.
I feel like because you know how much of a premium pitching is, you're going to have to give up a little more than Soler.
Well, yeah, but he's the main piece.
Yeah.
He's the main piece, yeah. But Soler's terrible in cold weather, so if Colorado is going to make a move for him...
But it's a hitter's park.
It is, but that guy's numbers, and so is Wrigley Field, and his numbers in the cold at Wrigley are awful. So, I mean, just not to say it can't be done, but...
I don't have much faith in Soler anymore.
No, I don't either. I've lost it. I have lost it. He showed so much promise in the playoffs last year, and getting on base a lot, and then this year came out and basically sent that down the tubes, and now he's rehabbing and can't get his timing down.
Well, you knew the writing was on the wall for Soler when they got Jason Hayward a little bit because, and especially when they brought back Fowler.
Oh yeah,
when Fowler came back, that was the final nail in the coffin because Hayward was supposed to play center, but Hayward's the best defensive right fielder in the game pretty much, and there's nowhere to put him. There's nowhere to put Soler, and I don't think he's worth playing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they need to get rid of him. I think they hopefully will. I trust Theo and Jed 100%. I know that's very rare for people in this room to trust their GM 100%.
It is.
Their GM in baseball, president of baseball ops 100%. But with that said, I think they'll add one piece tomorrow. I don't think it'll be huge.
Any prediction? Gun to your head right now. One guy.
Gun to my head right now. They got to add one guy. I will say it is John Gray.
I don't think that'll happen, but we'll see.
Well, you know what they say. See. You just never know, Corey. Ever, Steve. All right?
I walked right into that
one.
Oh,
you so did. All right. That's going to do it this week for the Sports Corner. It's been fun. Jack, we miss you, man. We'll see you back here next week. He's already guaranteed to me that he will not miss next week. He is going to buy me George's next Sunday. It's going to be a nice day with Jack on Sunday. We miss you. Have fun at Lala. So, Corey, thanks for being here, buddy.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you keep an eye out for more content. Just a quick tidbit of info. One of my good friends, Vito, is moving back. He is going to be helping out with a lot of stuff as far as editing goes and adding more content because he's got a little bit nicer equipment than I do. So super, super stoked to have Vito back, not just because of the podcast, but because one of my good buddies is moving back home from Iowa. So super stoked to have him out here. You guys will see him hopefully next week. We will put him on camera for a minute. So really excited about that. He's going to be awesome. So yeah, just be ready for it. Make sure you guys subscribe again. And we will see you guys next week.
He's going to do it.
Oh, don't do it to him, baby.